So I was talking to my mom about this project, and she looked at me and said, "You can't have that much religious trauma. They didn't do anything that bad to you." And I'm like, maybe not, but I look back on some of it and it just doesn't sit well with me. Like, there's a story in the Bible where they had to hide their faith because some king or whatever declared Christianity illegal or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Um, and whenever we learned about that in Sunday school, we would legitimately go hide in the walls of the church. And we were told there could be broken glass back there. We were told there could be rats, there could be spiders. I'm deathly afraid of spiders. So that, no, they had to like drag me back there. But we didn't have a choice. We had to. And we would stay back there and hide. And looking back on it, that is messed up. We're in America. Christians don't really get persecuted here. And I didn't really think much of it because I think I was in elementary school by that time, so I knew that we did intruder drills. So I thought, oh, this is just kind of an intruder drill. Okay, cool. This is where we hide if somebody comes in with a gun, because that could happen if that could happen in my elementary school, why couldn't it happen in my church, And I didn't really think anything of it until recently, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not normal. I just kind of want to go ahead and say I'm not against religion. Religion itself, is like a human need, sort of. We need something typically to believe in. And as I've grown up, I've heard more family stories about, their religious trauma and things that have happened, and it just makes me so mad. Because your whole religion is based around compassion and caring, and all that some followers can seem to do is be rude and nasty. And it just, ugh. Our church also liked to put on a little crucifixion play, of course.
As every church does.
As most churches do, yes.
Yeah.
And I remember whenever I was very small, I want to say like 5, maybe 6. We did one of them, and it was like a decent scale. Like, we had like a riser and everything for like, Jesus to go up on the cross and everything. And the guy they picked to play Jesus, he was one of the adults that I really, really, got along with, because he would, play with kids and whatnot. They picked him to be Jesus, and I distinctly remember sitting in the pew between my grandparents and my parents and hearing the guys dressed as Roman officers screaming at him. And they had actual whips. And I'm sure they missed him with them. But good luck explaining that to a 5 or 6-year-old. Good luck explaining that to a 5 or 6-year-old. So I, being the little spitfire that I always was, immediately jump up and go, like, I'm ready to go run in front of this guy and be like, no, you're not hitting him. No, stop. And just like take the whips away, or whatever 6-year-old, 5-year-old me was thinking. And my dad grabs my shoulder and sits me back down, physically pushes me back down to sit. And he's like, stop. And I'm like, but they're hurting. And my mom's like, no, they're not hurting him. It's a play. It's fake. I'm like, again, good luck explaining that to a 5 or 6-year-old. And I like screamed. I distinctly remember screaming whenever I saw him up on the cross, quote, dead. Because, again, they used pretty decent theatrical blood, so I was like, oh god, they actually killed him. And, again, my dad was like, shut up, because he would rather die than be embarrassed, how that goes. And my mom's like, it's okay, it's fake. As soon as this is done, I'll show you that it's fake and you can go hug him. And I'm like, But, whenever it did get done, he was okay, obviously. They didn't actually kill anyone. But, I was kind of messed up for a minute after that one. I was like, no, because I was afraid they were actually whipping him and nailing him up on the thing. They did a really good job of hiding the, straps that actually held him up. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I still have a very vivid picture of that in my mind, and it's terrifying. But I just remember little messed up things that I look back on it and go, this isn't right. Because again, it's the whole basis of the religion is be a good person, be compassionate and caring. A lot of my family believes in the, women should not talk in church thing. And this was like my first like needle under the skin with Christianity, was the fact that I'm supposed to somehow be less than just because I was born a female. It's like, no, I refuse to believe that a God who said he made us equal expects me to be treated as less than and just go with it. There's no way. He didn't make anyone to be less than. If you actually follow the book, everyone is supposed to be equal. But I definitely remember a lot about purity culture and a lot about how being gay was just wrong, just straight up. But definitely purity culture, because I was a very rambunctious child. I did not fit into the gender binary very well. And I just distinctly remember consistent purity culture, like, don't show your shoulders. Like, what's wrong with shoulders? Like, your dress needs to be longer. Why does it need to be longer? You have to wear a dress to church. Why do I have to wear a dress to church? Because you yell at me because I sit wrong, but if I wore pants, I wouldn't sit wrong. And it's like, no, you have to wear a dress because girls wear dresses. It's like, okay, that's not really a reason, but whatever. And then the being gay thing, I can't remember where it started, and I can't remember if it was ever primarily a church thing or if it was a family thing that was brought on by everyone being churchgoers. But I just remember there for the longest time, if there was a queer character, thinking queer was like the worst word in the world for one. Because whenever there was a character who wasn't straight in a show or something, and I asked, why is dad making fun of them? Why are they acting this way? Because I didn't understand. I'd never been around anyone like that. Because I was very sheltered. And them going, oh, they're queer. Okay, like, I didn't even realize that queer meant gay for the longest time. I thought it just meant wrong. I thought it just meant bad. But I finally figured it out. I was like, oh. That's them saying that they are gay. Okay. And, I'm not the first one to come out in our family. One of my cousins did first, and my mother actually kept us distanced away from each other for a while. That way she wouldn't, quote, influence me. And I'm like, you literally took away my favorite human in the world for like 3 years. Why would you do that? And she's like, I didn't want you to be influenced. Guess what? Still gay. Still queer.
Oops.
And when I finally did admit to myself that I liked girls that way, junior year of high school, I was terrified. And I would legitimately, like, be bawling my eyes out, unable to breathe because of how hard I was sobbing, praying, just praying as hard as I could pray, that if this is wrong, go ahead and kill me and send me to hell, because I'm not changing. If I go to hell because I love this girl, send me to hell right now. Because I'm not changing this, because this is the best love I've ever felt. Mm-hmm. And I would do that just consistently. Just pray that if this is wrong, kill me now. I'm still here. So